40 most intense experiences of people's lives. According to Reddit. Number 40. Counter-terrorist operation in Georgia a few weeks ago happened in a building where I live. 16 hours of random explosions and gunshots while waiting to be evacuated from the building. Intense. Well, that's where that is. North of Armenia. Huh. The country of Georgia. Naturally. As we continue. Number 39. I held a bag of weed once in college. I don't mean to brag, but I'm a dangerous outlaw. Wanted, dead or alive. Calling the feds now. You're going down. Number 38. I made a conjugation flashcard in high school Spanish class. Those verbs were definitely in tense. Oh my god. Oh my god. Number 37. When I was 20, I woke up handcuffed to a hospital bed. Why do I recognize this name? Why do I recognize that name? The night before I had a reaction to medication I was taking and heavy drinking and started having a very bad panic attack. My friends were scared and called an ambulance, but I don't like hospitals, so that just made things worse. Eventually the cops came and tried to help the paramedics get me into the ambulance. They handcuffed me and carried me out, and in the process, I guess I turned my head and bit one of the cops on the leg. I remember none of this and just woke up confused and blind because I didn't have my glasses. I eventually was told that I was under arrest for aggravated battery and was going to be taken to the police station after the doctor had cleared me. After I got dressed, they cuffed me with ankle cuffs and put me in the back of a paddy wagon. I was booked into the police station and spent the night there until the next morning when they transferred me to the county jail. When I got there, I was terrified, not because of the inmates, but because of the cops. They knew why I was there, and as soon as I got there, they all started barking at me. Okay. Spent the next couple of days being shuffled around, unable to make phone call to my family, and pretty much blind because I didn't have my glasses. When I finally got settled in what was to be my long-term cell, I was told I was being bonded out. The whole experience was strange and scary, but I learned a lot about myself and met a lot of really interesting people. I ended up in court for a year, and we were able to get the charge down to a misdemeanor reckless behavior and wound up with 2 years of probation. As proof, here is my ID from jail. I feel like I've read this before. Yeah. I've read this story before. Pretty dank though. Hello to Stripes. Hello to Emmy. Hello to Fat Man. And hello to Lexeus. Hope you're all having an interesting day. And that things just get better for you guys. As we continue upwards, we arrive at number 26. The first time I did psychedelic drugs, they were mushrooms. Holy shit. It was like I was living my life in 2D black and white world unknowingly and seeing colors in 3 dimensions for the first time. That's the best analogy I can come up with. It's true. Get psychedelic. Why don't ya? Oh boy. Oh wait, I muted the desktop audio instead of muting the microphone audio. So I cleared my throat really loud, and I apologize for that. Smooth move, Kyle. Smooth move? Yeah, whatever. Number 35. First, a little backstory. I have spinal muscular atrophy. a genetic disease that slowly wastes away your motor neurons. I have never walked and use a wheelchair to get around. About a year ago, the first ever treatment for SMA, Spinraza, was fast-tracked by the FDA out of trial phase and made available to the public. The most intense experience of my life has to be laying on a hospital bed, receiving my first dose of the drug, and feeling a deep sense of hope for the first time in a very long time. Oh my God. I hope that he ended up walking, but the fact that that's mysteriously missing from this lets us know that it probably wasn't the case, but oh man, that feeling must have been scary. Oh my God. It's so sad. It's so sad to read that. Hey. Well, number 34. Once fractured my leg, nut riding, and ATV in Pismo. Nut riding. No, God damn it, Kaio. Once fractured my left nut, riding an ATV in Pismo. How'd you fracture your left nut? Huh. Well, we can just be glad it hasn't happened to us. Well, number 33. Woke up for work about 6 months ago and my leg was numb/tingly, like I slept on it wrong and it was asleep. I got up and tried to walk it off and get the blood flowing while I got ready for work. I did that for about an hour with no change. Oh my God. Oh boy. I did that for about an hour with no change. By this time I was feeling really strange. Started discharging whatever was in my stomach guts explosively from both ends. Oh my God. Meanwhile, my leg has steadily started to swell and become very painful, even though it was still sleeping. I call my boss and tell him what's going on and that I need to take a personal day. He tells me that I sound very strange and to go see a doctor. By this time, my leg is swollen, so big that it feels like my skin would split. Muscles are contracting to the point that my leg is rock hard and I can't even bend my knee. Drag myself on my stomach to the bathroom to evacuate whatever is left inside me. I consider trying to sleep it off. My God, man, you need a hospital. But I'm feeling so horrible that I call 911, God forbid. By the time they arrive, I'm barely conscious. They rush me to the hospital where they determine blood flow has somehow stopped reaching my lower leg under my knee. Also, I'm in double kidney failure. Doctors are stumped. They life flight me to Pittsburgh UPMC. I'm rushed to surgery where they split my leg from my crotch to my ankle on the inner side and waist to ankle on the outer side in order to relieve the pressure from swelling. Meanwhile, my muscles are contracting so bad that I thought they would snap my leg bones. One of the most painful feelings I've ever felt. All the while, the doctors are frantically trying to save/fix my kidneys. I was laying in that bed, slowly dying. Apparently, the circulation was cut off to my leg as I slept, causing the calf muscle to die. Wow. Could this happen to any of us? When that happens, the muscle releases lots of chemicals and toxins. My problem was it released a massive amount of potassium and my kidneys couldn't handle it. Finally, the surgeons tell me that they will have to go in and remove the dead tissue, but there is a small chance that they may have to remove some of my leg. Well, when I wake from the anesthesia, I can tell something's not right. I look down to see my left leg is gone from about 3 inches above the knee. Talk about intense. I've gone from working 60 hours a week to disabled and sitting at home. Talk about a life changer. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, that is how it goes. I am so sorry. Yeah, this scared the hell out of me. This has scared the hell out of me. Looks like Emmy's sharing that she has been diagnosed with celiac disease, which means she can't have gluten among a laundry basket full of other things. And it sucks, and I'm sorry, because it's super, super, super hard to take. And it comes with a lot of unfortunate implications, which, you know, we don't need to name here, but just really, really sucks. And I hope that she will continue to be strong in dealing with that shit, because holy crap. That's intense. Number 32. My second year of college, I was 20. I came home from class to find my roommate passed out on the floor with an empty bottle of prescription pills next to him. He had been so depressed due to some serious family issues, but I never thought it would come to suicide. I had never dealt with anything like this and was 3,000 miles away from any of my family or friends, and his mom was 6,000 miles away. His dad lived nearby, but he was the cause of the depression, so I was panicked. I had no idea what to do in the situation. I tried to get him up and he started to stir a little bit, which was great, but he was completely non-functional. I called my dad, who immediately calmed me down and told me I needed to call 911. I thought I might be able to get him down to my car and drive him to the hospital. I was afraid the ambulance would cost too much money for his family. Luckily, my dad made me realize I was being irrational, and I called the ambulance and then informed his mom, who made the situation so much worse. That's when you know you got shit fucking parents, dude. You know what I mean? You know you got shit parents when this could be a life or death scenario with your fucking blood, and you're making the situation worse. Oh my God. We have nothing more to say. We have nothing more to say. So I'm sure he regretted informing her. Wow. They pumped his stomach and he was released from the hospital a few days later. His dad came to be with him and took me home later in the evening. It was such an awful car ride. My friend attempted suicide 2 more times, and each time I was the one who found him and called the ambulance. It was a really rough couple of months, which forced me to leave college and move back home to finish out school with my family. I'm happy to report that my friend is fine now and doing really well in all aspects of life, but it was really scary for a while. I don't know how I managed to keep my head about me, for the most part. Oh my God. Oh my God. As we continue up the list of 40 most intense experiences of people's lives, we arrive at number 31. Finding my dad dead when I was only 19. He was divorced and I was his only child, and that was the last day I had as a child before I had to grow up and face the harsh reality. Well, reality comes a knocking for us all, boy. Oh boy, number 30. I've had some pretty intense experiences, but one comes to mind pretty quick. I was about 19 years old and me and my dad were caught in a giant riptide. I'm a strong swimmer and I was confident in my father. It was us and about 20 other people, while there were only about 5 lifeguards. Everyone was being pulled out to sea pretty rapidly. Some were calm and others were freaking out. I looked to my left and saw a boy, about 9 years old maybe, who was freaking out and couldn't keep his composure. I swam toward him and started calming him down and said, "Don't worry, bud. It won't last forever. Just save your energy and don't fight it. The lifeguards will be here. Lay on your back and try to float." While he's crying, I swam to him and put my hands under his back, and he started floating. I maneuvered us horizontally, and then a lifeguard came and took him away. I got to shore about 30 seconds later, and he was crying while his mom was yelling at him, telling him things like, why didn't you listen to me? You can't swim that far away." I went up to the mom, and I was going to give him a high five and tell him that he did a great job keeping calm, and as I started talking, the mother looked at me, scolded me, and looked me head to toe, grabbed his hand, and walked away. Well, can we get through one list without, like, terrible mothers? Fuck me. yelling at him after an experience like that, you know? Okay. Yes, parents, you're going to want to instill in your kids that that they should be doing things that don't endanger their lives. But I don't know. Okay, the kid was already crying. The kid's crying. Number 29. I spent some time cleaning up bodies, kind of like sunshine cleaners. There was this one house. Going into the house smelled unusually normal, and there wasn't any signs of decay anywhere, which was unusual. Then we get to the bathroom, and the guy had used plastic sheets to wall off his whole room so when he killed himself, it wouldn't affect the house. It got worse from there, because he tried to use a towel to keep the gunshot contained, and it basically made it a cannon. The plastic was sealed pretty well, so I was able to suit up and get my mask on before going in, even without the smell. The first sight after pulling back the plastic was the most intense experience I think I will ever have. Let me saying thank you all for your love and support. My love is maximum though, Emmy. My love for, you know, you and your situation is profound in a way that, you know, other people's love can't really compare for. Also, my support is everlasting. I'm here for you. Bing bong. Bing bong, bing bong. Okay? I win. Number 28. Retrieving. Oh my God. Retrieving my friend's personal belongings from the car he died in. It was summer, and everything was absolutely soaked in his blood. We'd been friends since childhood, and the remaining members of our group of friends, including his sister, sat in silence, numb silence, as we drove the hour-long trip back with a few everyday items we'd managed to retrieve. We left most of it there. That's so sad. Let's continue to the end of this list. Number 29. What? 27. A few months ago, actually. Was early morning, and I woke up to some loud noises. I was half asleep and heard someone ring my doorbell 3 times, very fast and obnoxiously. Then I fell asleep, assuming my mom or sister would get it. A few minutes later, I woke up again and heard what could only be heavy stomping in my house. After I spent a minute fully waking myself up, I then remembered that my sister and stepdad were at work and my mom was at a dentist appointment. That meant it was only me and my grandma at home, and since we were home, the door was unlocked, and someone was stomping heavily through the house. Eventually, I heard more sets of stomping and people talking to each other. People broke into my house, and I had no idea how many there were. I sprang out of bed and locked my door while trying to also make as little noise as possible. I had to get my contacts on quickly, which was frustrating because there is no really fast way to do that. I'm now sweating, I'm shaking, and I put on some jeans that I had laying on the floor and threw on 3 layers of shirts and my heaviest winter coat. I am a collector of live blades, so I grabbed my Starship Trooper Bowie that was sitting on the dresser. I also had a wooden shield sitting on my closet I bought from the Renaissance Fair a while back. I knew I probably didn't stand a chance if these guys were armed with guns, but damn it, I had to try, and I was ready to stab someone if need be. I backed up to the wall so that if someone kicked my door open, I would be out of their immediate sight when they look in. I pulled out my phone and called my mom to tell her to call the police because we had intruders. I didn't want to sit on the phone with an operator forever since I anticipated I'd need to fight soon. Fortunately, she answered immediately and I whispered, "Mom, call the police. There are intruders in the house." "What the hell are you talking about? Why are you calling me in your room? Huh? Wait, where are you? I'm in the kitchen. What are you talking about?" I was dumbfounded. I still heard the stomping and the voices, so I opened my door, looked down the stairs still shaking. Nobody. I came down and went into the kitchen and my mom is there sipping some coffee. Apparently, the roofers came a day early. their job that day got canceled, so we got moved forward on their availability. Well, he was going to show them how to, you know, become Zelda saving Link, okay? Probably should have mentioned that my bedroom is on the upper floor, so the stomping was very loud. Team of around 10 guys were up there. Also, I've never been inside the house to hear what it sounds like to have people on the roof, so it wasn't the first thing I thought of, but this was the first time I ever legitimately feared for my life and was prepared to fight for it. Oh boy. Oh my god. Number 26. The night my wife told me she had cancer. Oh my god. Somebody else says, I remember vividly the day my dad sat us down and told us he had cancer. I've been there, dog. Hope you're well. Oh boy. Number 25. Meningitis. I'm not sure what that is. So for anybody who may be in the same place, meningitis is an inflammation of the membranes surrounding your brain and spinal cord. The swelling from meningitis typically triggers symptoms such as headaches, fever, and a stiff neck. Most cases of meningitis in the US are caused by a viral infection. Oh my god. Jesus, come on, man. I'm trying to hear it. Come on, let's get through this. Meningitis. The pain was so intense that you have a moment of panic just before each heartbeat because you know how bad your head will hurt doing it. The only time I've experienced fever hallucinations. Eyes open, I was in the hospital. Eyes closed, I was somewhere else. Other times, eyes closed, I could still see the hospital room, but there was a girl with short hair sitting in a wheelchair in a chair next to me. They didn't want to give me a Foley bag for whatever reason. So every time I went to the bathroom, which was a lot with the IV, I would spend the next 5 minutes dry heaving into a cardboard bowl, which in turn did wonders for the head. Oh my god. When I could finally eat again after 6 days, the hospital turkey sandwich was the most delicious thing. Nurses later told my wife that they didn't think I was going to make it through the first night. Jesus Christ. Guys, there are these types of migraines that are like horrifying, and I forgot the name of them, but like the pain is so bad that, you know, pretty much it just cripples everybody who has to deal with it, and they just pretty much end up in the fetal position on the floor writhing. If you guys know what I'm talking about, please comment it in the stream. Holy hell, man. As we continue up to number 24. My friend was accidentally roofied when his friend gave him a drink another man had given him. That was his second and last drink of the night. I took him home shortly after. He became belligerent and unintelligible during the 10-minute cab ride. He was unable to walk to his door or even stand. He was a mess, in and out of consciousness, crying, begging me to let him sleep. I called 911 because I was very concerned, and mid-phone call he begins to seize and foam from the mouth. I had to give him CPR twice. Ambulances finally come. I could not wrap my head around what happened. I even asked the EMT, do I seem drunk to you? Because we drank the same amount and I feel pretty sober. They had to defibrillate him to stabilize his heart, and on the way to the hospital. The ER doctor said that he had Rohypnol in his system and that he probably would have died if I let him sleep it off. The next morning, my friend said that the last thing he remembered was dancing at the gay bar, drinking his drink. Almost lost my best friend. Jesus Christ. Nicholas Falashi says that he gets those headaches. They're called head cluster, yeah. At the cluster migraines, is that what they're called? Yeah, that's what they're called. Jesus Christ. I saw a video of a girl having one and I felt like I was gonna die. I felt like I was gonna die because it's... Can you imagine like somebody that you know? Let alone love. It was so sad. Oh my god. It's oh my god. I don't want to. Let's get out of here. What are you doing? I'm like grabbing my own shirt. I'm so sorry. Okay. Kiki says cluster migraines. I have them. I hope you're okay, Kiki. I'm so sorry. I hope you're doing well. I'm really, really sorry. I'm so sorry. Holy hell. We're all just getting fucked over. Holy shit. Number 3. The second time I did acid, I discovered the true meaning of life while listening to the Beatles' A Day in the Life. It was during that crazy crescendo at the end with the orchestra. Too bad I totally forgot the meaning of life like a minute later, but I totally knew it for a moment. That shit was intense. Okay. Number 2. Number 22. Nice, France, on the promenade, July 14th, 2016. Never before that day did I decide which direction to move based on where I thought bullets would least likely be. I'm so sorry. It's pretty scary when you're in the midst of live gunfire and you got to decide which way to run, if you should move at all. Kiki says, I'm good. I have medication for it. If it does not help, I just go to the ER. It's frustrating when I get them at work. God bless you. You can still work and you still try to. Some people would be making that disability check do the work for them in a big way. Number 21. So I'm type 1 diabetic, and about 6 months ago I forgot to test my blood sugar levels before going to bed. I woke up 6 hours later, keenly aware that something was wrong, but I wasn't quite sure what. God, something bit me on the dick. Great. I woke up 6 hours later, keenly aware something was wrong. But I wasn't quite aware what was wrong, so I jumped out of bed and stumbled to the kitchen and desperately tried to eat something. By the time I had reached the kitchen, my blood sugar was so low that my consciousness began to recede, and I could feel it fading. I remember trying to make French fries because the pantry was empty, but in my barely conscious state, I put them in the toaster instead of the oven. My last memory before I lost consciousness is being frustrated upon remembering fries do not go in the toaster and trying to pull them out. Thank God it was unplugged. Luckily, I still lived with my parents, who woke up while I was unconscious, found me trying to get ice cream to eat, but being unable to get it or form a sentence. Thankfully, they got my blood sugar up, sat me down on the couch, and I regained consciousness. Holy shit. I still remember the loss of control, though, and it's intensely terrifying, even as a memory. Ugh. What is fatal familial insomnia? Fatal insomnia is a rare prion disease that interferes with sleep and leads to deterioration of mental function and loss of coordination. Death occurs within a few months to a few years. Fatal insomnia has 2 forms: familial. Oh my God, that's inherited. Wait, what? Dude, when you wrote insomnia, I don't know why that my brain thought narcolepsy, which is the one where you fall asleep out of nowhere. Insomnia is the one where you don't go to sleep. It's the one where we stay up. A lot of people believe they are insomniacs because they stay up all night. I don't know why I thought narcoleptic. Oh my God. Holy hell. Simon says he has type 1 diabetes, and you should be very, very careful, man. I didn't know it was like this. I didn't know that you could straight up just fucking drift right out like that and go zombie if your blood sugar falls too low. Be very careful. Be very careful. Number 20, war was kind of intense when it wasn't mind-numbingly boring staring into the desert for 12 hours. Well, at least you're alive. Most people prefer that. Somebody responds, one thing I was always thankful for in Afghanistan was the scenery. Nothing like getting shot at in what could be a paradise on Earth. Interesting. Yeah, that's Central Asia. That's Central Asia. Whew. Well, as we continue up this list of shit that's intense AF, we arrive at number 19. Having a knife held to my throat by an incredibly drunk friend who got mad at me about a game of kill, marry, fuck around a campfire. I was wasted and he was wasted, and obviously kind of insane, and for some reason my reaction was to yell, "What are you gonna do, kill me? Do it, do it. You won't do it, I fucking dare you," at the top of my lungs. At the time, I thought it was fine and the rational way to get him to back down, but later my friends told me that they thought there was at least a 50% chance this guy was gonna slit my throat. There was a 50% chance, dude. Somebody said, and a 10% chance he was going to marry you. Oh my god. Number 18. Two-year-old daughter was limping with a fever on Saturday. Is that what day that says? Strange, Kyle. So I took her to the urgent care clinic, and in the first hour of getting there, she falls unconscious and her fever spikes to 103. They give her some pain medication, and she wakes up an urgent care clinic and tells me she needs to be transported by ambulance to the children's hospital. But they won't transport her without an IV. At this point, her heart rate had stayed over 180 by 190 for an hour. They attempt to do an IV 3 times, and each time they are unsuccessful. Her heart rate skyrockets. My 2-year-old is beyond upset at this point. She has a fever, she's sick, and they've been poking her. The staff goes in for the 4th attempt. This is what was the most intense moment of my life. My child is being held down and screaming for all she is worth. One of the nurses on her side is trying for an IV, and the other nurse on the right side is watching the heart monitor. The monitor reads 238 beats per minute. The nurse monitoring the heart rate tells the other nurse to stop or she'll die. The worst words to say in front of a parent. The other nurse said if I don't get an IV in, she'll die in transport. Even worse words. I was terrified my daughter was going to die. She ended up having an ear infection with nothing more wrong with her. Terrible experience and a several $1,000 bill. Welcome to America. That's not how that goes, but I don't care. Oh my god. I don't know why Stripes changed her name to Peppermint Striped, but she goes, "Don't you want to be a cyborg?" To which I respond, "I am a perfect cyborg." Been watching a lot of Half in the... Wait, no, that's Best of the Worst. Never mind. As we continue up to number 17, staring into the eyes of a stranger to whom I was giving CPR and watching him die. I think part of me went too. I hope I can grow that back by living a worthy life. 1992, April. He was 63 years old. I was 25, and it still hurts. And it still hurts. Well, here we go. Number 16. In March of this year, I still had quite the problem with oxy. Here we go. One weekend when my 2 roommates were going to be gone, I had gotten myself 10 30 milligram oxys and was going to have a great day/night of video games and relax. After sniffing 4 of them, I evidently overdosed and passed out. I later found out that they were pressed fentanyl pills. Oh my God. I woke up 18 hours later covered in my own vomit, sweat, and feces. No one found me because the people I lived with were gone, or we are gone. I guess them drugs haven't worn off. I very easily could have died, but because I was sitting in a computer chair, I couldn't choke on my own vomit. It really got to me and gave me the motivation to stay clean. Good. Lucky that you lived through it. You hear that, folks? This stream is brought to you in part by computer chairs. If you're gonna pass out and wake up in your own shit, vomit, and sweat, at least you won't choke on that vomit when you're sniffing what you thought was oxy but is actually pressed fentanyl. God damn. As we arrive at number 15, getting my drink mixed up with a girl's at a party, getting roofied because of it, and running from the cops all night in December in a wife beater. Somebody said, to be honest, you probably saved a girl's night, maybe even her life. There's something to be said for that, right? I like to think if a guy's walking around with drugs to date rape a bitch, he's probably got like a bit of backup drugs to date rape a bitch. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what if he's date raping a bitch by putting something in her drink and then some hotter bitch comes out of nowhere, you know? And then he's like, man, I'm gonna date rape that bitch instead. You know, he just let that drink go, whatever. And then he, you know, make this happen. What if he has multiple bitches on his roster of the night, whom he intends to date rape? You know? Oh, you guys enjoy your club and bar life, you know? Number 14, hunger. Not like I skipped lunch hunger, but having no food while backpacking for 5 days. You become feverish and euphoric at the same time, and stressfully obsessed about food. Your lizard brain takes full control. I ate a lot of bugs, lost all of my body fat/muscle. Would not recommend. So if I starved myself for 5 days, I would get sexy? Are you sure? I think my body would start clinging to the fat, and it'd be terrible for my my metabolism. Yeah, I should just start sticking my finger down my throat. You know what I'm talking about? Someone responds, hunger is so much worse than anyone can know. In Chechnya, at one point, I went 2 weeks with just scraps of food, and at the end, I went into this delirious state. My mind's thoughts felt painful. Every ounce of movement felt laborious, and you start to just spend every waking moment thinking about food until it consumes you. My stomach aches like never before. My muscles felt atrophied and destroyed. You begin to feel it after 2 to 3 days of not eating. I had maybe 500 calories a day, and after 5-10 days, it just magnifies to extreme amounts. I don't wish hunger on the worst of my enemies, but there is nothing compared. No, I have been hit by shrapnel and stabbed, but there is nothing compared to the mental and physical anguish that is starvation. Peppermint says, don't do it, Kyle. Don't? What, stick finger down my throat? I gotta do it, dude. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Kiki says, don't go that long without eating. A day fast is okay, but that long, no. I don't want to go to Ling. I don't know any Chinese girls. See what I did there? Pimp Daddy says you also start tripping balls. I guess when you're fasting, huh? So that's like the best way to get high. All the kids are doing it. They're just not eating. Because that high is so fucking fresh. It's just like, oh my God. Can you imagine kids in like school? In the middle of class? And they're just like, oh man, it's starting to hit, man. Oh shit. This guy's like at hour 70. Oh my God. How many fingers do you see, man? Number 13. Called to a reported house fire. The neighbor states that they hear screaming and saw smoke/flames. This is farm country at 3 a.m. Captain and I hopped the barbed wire fence as we were frantically racing to the farmhouse to see what happened. Yep, it's goats. The farmer simply approached us and said, "Howdy, boys. Problem?" When asked about the screaming and the fire, he said he had a brush pile burning and that my goats needed a milking. Learned how closely goats and people sounded the same. Captain shook his head, and we talked back to the engine and said to never mention this back at the station. A very quick note. Yeah, some animals sound freakishly like humans. And I know this only because of Sheep Man recently. But a sheep screaming sounds like this. Doesn't that sound like a man? Which is weird. Hopefully nobody was trying to get asleep. You know, you guys will be fine. How's that? Oh boy. So as we roll up, we arrive at number 12. I was dog sitting for my brother. He has two giant dogs. It was a Saturday morning and my daughter was coloring at the table while I made pancakes. Suddenly everything felt off. I heard a thump behind me, and even though it had been a solid few minutes without a seizure, I knew without even turning around that the thump was my daughter falling to the floor. Oh no, that your daughter has seizures. I'm actually a very panicky person, so the thought, or the fact that I got the giant dogs in their kennels and unplugged, So the fact that I got the giant dogs in their kennels and unplugged the pancake griddle before I even turned around is impressive. It wasn't her first seizure. I carefully moved her off of the hardwood floor and onto a rug. I started a timer. Apparently short seizures are totally fine, but once you hit 8 minutes, that's when you should worry. I always worry from the first second, but hey, I'm no medical expert. 8 minutes, guys. Think about that. Think about 8 minutes being regarded as short. I couldn't stop talking for 20 seconds without you guys getting a little bit anxious. That was 20 seconds. That was 20 seconds. Imagine 20 seconds times 3. That's 1 minute. Imagine that minute times 8. That's 8 minutes. Imagine you having a kid that you love because it's your kid that came out of you, right? And watching that kid writhe around on the floor having a seizure for not 1 minute, not 4 minutes, not 6, 8 minutes? Jesus Christ. And then worse, I like the idea of you calling somebody because you want help. You're panicking. You're frantic. You know what I mean? My kid is seizing out. And they're just like, has it been 8 minutes? Oh my God. Oh my God. I called 911 at minute 4. Since I'd yelled for my husband at minute 2, we were in the car and driving 90 miles per hour to our small town clinic at minute 5. She started moaning in my arms at minute 6, otherworldly heart-stopping moans. It took every last bit of anything even remotely resembling strength that I had not to curl up and die of worry, stress, etc. I've never, ever, ever felt helpless and scared in my entire life, and then we finally finished the 25-mile drive to town, she came out of it. I thought we were through the worst of it as the nurse rushed us to the ER, and then my 3-year-old daughter started trying to talk to me. I could not understand a fucking word. I nodded and smiled and acted like I knew what she was saying because I didn't want her to be scared. She started wiggling in my arms, and I knew she wanted to walk around and not to be held. I lowered her to the ground and she just collapsed. Those little legs had been through a 25-minute seizure. But the way she looked at me when it happened, I still have no idea how I managed to meet her gaze and then scoop her up and comfort her when I felt such terror and worry course through me. The stuff of nightmares. The good news is she's fine, and we're about to hit the 2-year anniversary of being seizure-free. I've never seen an emoji that, was deserved like that. And there it is. And there it is. And there it is. Wow, man. Man, as we continue the list of 40 most intense experiences of people's lives, we're rounding out this list by finishing the final 11. Holding my own intestines was the most intense moment in my life. I'll preface this story by telling you that I am now 25. I was a daredevil as a kid and loved being one. I once jumped a shoddy Huffy bike off a pretty large ramp when I was 12 years old. When I landed, the front fork snapped where it passes through the front of the frame. The tire caused the broken fork to bounce upward toward my stomach, ripping a 4-inch gash across my stomach. The intensity struck after I landed and momentarily blacked out. When I regained vision, I got up off the ground via my hands and knees, and when I looked down, my lower intestines were hanging outside of my body. I had to cup my hand under the gash to keep them from falling out any further. And the scariest thing was, I was over at my mom's friend's neighbor's house under no supervision. Holding my guts, I walked from the neighboring house back to where my mom was before hightailing our asses to the nearest hospital. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that spiral belly button. Is this Uzumaki Naruto? What the fuck? I'm kidding, but oh my God. Yep, he proved it. Picture with proof. Little bastard. With no parental supervision. That's when the real fun begins, well. That's when the stomach gash opening, intestines folly outy fun happens. Hi, I'm Little Kid Knoxville, and welcome to Fuck Me in the Ass. Number 10. Having a doctor who assumed someone had spoken to me about it, having a glance at my chart when I was in the hospital for low red blood counts, and saying to me, well, you have cancer, so that's probably why. What? No one had said anything to me about cancer. Everyone kept telling me my bone marrow biopsy was inconclusive because of poor quality. That's how I found out. A careless, offhand, well, duh, sort of comment. I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. The rush of emotions I felt was unlike anything I've ever felt before or since. Jesus, dude. Cancer is claiming everybody. Cancer is claiming everybody. There's a chance I'm gonna get it. And I know everything isn't about me. But I mean, the scariest part is that there's a chance that if not me, that any one of you listening to this right now could get cancer. I'm not speaking that on you. I'm not like wishing that upon anyone. But statistically, dude, it's claiming everyone, someone we know has cancer or has had cancer. What the fuck? That shit's wild as fuck. That shit's wild as fuck, yo. Man. A response to this says, probably could have only been worse if the doctor said, okay, everyone without cancer, raise your hands. Not so fast. South Park references, man. We can't get away from them. You know, I made Emmy sit down and watch a shitload of South Park episodes, so now she understands the world around her a little bit better. This is a reference from the episode where Kenny learns to sing like opera style, and it's like a Cirque du Soleil type thing where there are these little girls, they're these Russian girls, and they don't know how to sing, and their grandmother dies because Stan's grandfather gets, you know, intimate with her, and then she dies. And then Stan's mom is like, oh, how should we break it to these girls, to Randy? And Randy Marsh says, he says, I know. Everyone with a grandmother step forward, right? And then the girls step forward and he goes, not so fast, girls. Oh my God. That's good stuff. Number 9. Ooh, give me a second. At a barbecue down by the river, my 4-year-old nephew disappeared. There were about 10 adults around and none of us saw him go. We were in the middle of a large grass reserve river on one side, a wetland bird sanctuary on the other, and we all panicked. After about 15 minutes of searching with no luck, we called the police, hoping they would help us find him. It took them half an hour to get there, and by this time we were all frantic, but none more than my sister. She was wading through the water, screaming his name over and over. His name is Will, and I tell you, Stranger Things gave me flashbacks. Ooh, I haven't watched the show, but I'm glad people yelling Will wasn't a name that was triggering a lot of other people. I have never been so heartbroken in my life. I was just beginning to realize that he had probably drowned and I'd never see him again when we look up and see my husband walking across the grass with my nephew holding his hand. There was a playground that every one of us had searched twice, but he somehow found his way there. To this day, we have no idea how he snuck away or where he was for those 45 minutes. We all got very drunk that night, hopefully after handcuffing this kid to something. It was aliens, by the way. I'm not going to pretend, you know what I mean? The aliens, they came, they put a little bit of chips in this little motherfucker. We do worse shit to birds and cattle, you know what I mean? Just making sure that they, you know, see how they fuck around, you know what I'm talking about? Thanks for not killing them, aliens. You know, Zoop, aliens. Number 8. On Saturday, I was rafting in grade 5 rapids in New Zealand. We flipped and I got thrown into recirculation, or a recirculation hole. I was being forced underwater with the power of a river with nowhere to get out. I tumbled around like a washing machine for about 30 seconds. It seemed like a lifetime. Eventually, and luckily, a thrust of water popped me out of the hole and into the next rapid. I got into calmer water with everybody already safe on the bank, watching on in terror, hoping I was all right. My paddle snapped. I swallowed some water, but overall, I lived. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's pretty crazy. All I know is this. A lot of these aren't, I want to say I consider a lot of these, before I read it, to be situations that were life or death. And the fact that a lot of them were pretty much just, you know, things happening around them. Not that that belittles what they went through in any way. A lot of people were dealing with cancer. A lot of people were dealing with like their children. I just expected, you know, like, okay, I was robbed, I was in a burglary type deal, and you know, everybody's fine. Because I mean, these could have really taken a turn if we're dealing with people that were around us where like they died and shit like that. But even the one where the guy was talking about his friend who was trying to commit suicide like multiple times, and his parents were making it worse. I mean, I almost understand, like, or I say I want to almost understand. I almost want to understand why the parents would be upset if it wasn't like a 1 or 2 time thing. Like if the kid multiple times is trying to take his own life. Jesus Christ. Pretty edgy. Man, number 7. Finding out my mother had died by my dad's screaming and running through the house. That was pretty fucked up. Oh my god, that's not a way to find that out. Oh my god. A response says, same. When my mother died, it was the most intense thing I've ever experienced. She died of an overdose when I was 17. Oh my god. She went to a family Christmas party with my stepdad's side of the family, and I was supposed to go but canceled last minute. Something I regret horribly to this day. You wouldn't be able to know. You know? You wouldn't be able to know. An overdose. You know? That's strange. Strange indeed. I can't be the only one thinking that's a little bit weird. You know? My mother died of an overdose and went to a Christmas party? Like, I'm wondering if, like, she took a whole bunch of drugs before she went? It's not adding up to me. Whatever, though. Number 6. I had my keys stolen, which started a mini riot at the maximum security juvenile detention center that I worked at. Cool. Somebody says, you're that movie security guard. Paul Blart, that prison cop. How do you have your keys stolen at a juvenile detention center? You distract the cop, and I'll grab the keys. What is this, a movie? Did that really happen? I love it. Someone says, as a prison guard, the amount of time you have to think about all the potential situations that could come your way is nothing compared to the amount of time the inmates have to watch you, or just you, and plan their attack. Well, I guess that's true. But why would... I don't like the way I'm thinking about it. Is there so many ways to do keys, you know? And I feel like the smartest way would be to have like a double door situation that 2 people have to sign off on. Or like, you know, sometimes y'all go to like a business and even the people who work there have to be buzzed in. You know what I mean? So like you open a door and you can get in the lobby, right? But you can't just get in the main area. That's probably the way that they need to roll through with some of these, I don't know, cells to prevent this kind of situation. But hey, man, wisdom isn't something that's going on in our prison system. I can tell you that right now. It's pretty much just about making money. So whatever costs least and makes the most. Oh, you know, that's where we're gonna go. Number 5. 3 years ago, I was bitten and envenomated, okay, by a king brown on a remote site. Man, that kind of shit makes me want to fold my legs up and into my fucking chair right now. Like, oh, make me want to turn on all the lights and shit. Snakes, come on, man. Come on, man. Snakes didn't belong in this list. I can tell you that right now. Anyway, I had effects from the venom, but worse effects from the anti-venom. He had like a reaction to the anti-venom, including temporary blindness. Oh my God. Yo, imagine going somewhere and receiving medication for something you're going through and becoming blind, dude. They would have to knock my ass out with even more drugs because I'd be shrieking, dude. This ain't no Daredevil. I'm not Matt Murdock, my nigga. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be receiving medication, go blind and be cool with that. They going to have to kill me. I would be barking in a way where the whole hospital would hear me and think that some guy think God himself is ripping his way into this dimension. You know what I'm talking about? Holy shit. Holy shit. That's just terrible. You get bit by a snake. You got that venom in you. Let me go get this anti-venom. I'm temporarily blind. Tell a temporarily blind man that it's temporary. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't know that. It took 2 years for my organs and muscles to recover. Oh my God, 2 years? Of course he's in Australia. Fat Man. You know, Fat Man released all the snakes in Australia. Also, Australian animals were a normal size. And then Fat Man opened up Pandora's box. And then something that literally had the name called Nigga Fuck It escaped the box. And then it just threw itself all over the place, started sprinkling nigga what the fuck on the animals and stuff. And the animals grew to like 5 times their normal size. Why not? Why not? Oh my God. We're going to continue. Number 4. I had my toenails out. No, that's not what that says. I had my toenails out. Why? Oh, Kyle. You keep acting up and you're gonna get your toenails out. What? I had my tonsils out when I was a kid. Was living with my dad at the time, but one particular night, a couple days after, I really wanted to take a bath, and my mom had a big tub, so I went one night to stay with her for a few days. The next morning, my throat started bleeding heavily. Well, my stepdad worked second shift, so he was home and drove me to the hospital. I wound up severing, I'm believing they mean to say, a vein before I got there. I was violently vomiting blood. Jesus. They had to stick a hot iron down my throat to stop the blood? Is that how it works? Is that how it works? If you fucked up a vein in your, well, let me, whoa. Back it up. You better back it up, okay? I'm asking anybody who may have medical knowledge of this right here. If something in your throat is severed, like a vein, and you're bleeding profusely, is what they're going to do cauterize the wound by sticking a flaming hot, like they might as well just put a lightsaber inside your fucking throat to cauterize the wound? Is that what they're gonna do? Is that what? That sounds so prehistoric. It sounds like that's the 1940s remedy. Well, we gotta cauterize that wound. Well, it's something going on in the throat. We're gonna have to chop your head off, boy. What the fuck? Are you sure? Oh no, Sin Moon Goddess? Do you think this chick meant to write cinnamon? Or maybe Sin Moon with a S? But instead they wrote, oh man, what a bucket of confusion. What a bucket of confusion. Listen. Oh my God, they stuck an iron rod down this boy's throat. He lost 4 pints of blood total, had 3 transfusions, and said if I was at my dad's and home alone, I probably wouldn't have made it. Was less than awesome. But it's a good thing you wanted a bath so bad that you went to your mom's house. Your corny ass. I just really want a bath. You know who that sounds like? Emmy. Psh, I'm going home. I need to get in that tub. Get in that tub. Think about Kyle. Number 3. I hate it when I gotta scroll up so long. My mom called me as her suicide note. Oh shit. You get it all right there in that first, you know what I'm talking about? That first sentence. My mom called me as her suicide note. I lived 16 hours away and had to talk to her after she took 2 months worth of strong painkillers and prescription sleep aids. She had driven her car to an abandoned parking lot and I had no idea where she was. She couldn't answer any of my questions about how much she took or how long she arrived there, but I kept talking to her until suddenly there was just silence on the other end of the phone. I thought she died right there on the phone with me. I thought my mother had died. Luckily, my husband called my grandpa, who lives near her, and because they shared the same wireless plan, the customer service agent walked him through pinging her phone and getting her location. My sister rushed there, just beating the ambulance, and they were able to save my mother's life. She was in a coma for about a week and is only now getting her life back together. She's had to make big changes to her life that unfortunately she's not financially able to do, but she's trying hard and I'm proud of her. But my God, that moment on the phone when I was screaming for my mom and there was no response still haunts me and my husband. He says I fell to the floor wailing and he had to take me to the couch, but all I remember is the terrible heartache. That sucks. That sucks. Interesting. Well, as we put a bow on this list of 40 most intense experiences of people's lives, damn, that computer's loud as hell right now. I probably got a lot of shit open. Truth be told, I kinda do. Mainly Skype. You should shut down Skype. Bye, Skype. You always licked my bowels. We arrive at number 2. Honestly, having a 300-pound filing cabinet fall on me and pin me against the wall across my collarbone. I couldn't lift it off of me and could feel it slowly crushing my airspace for 10 minutes until a coworker found me, and the filing cabinet was in a concrete vault in the basement with zero sound travel. It happened the day after I went skydiving, and my thoughts were, I'm going to die here, crushed by a filing cabinet. That has gotta suck. I am a 125-pound female. I don't actually know if the cabinet was 300 pounds. I was disastrously weak at the time, but also not able to lift double my body weight. So yeah, some of us wonder, guys, like, you know, we wondering if 300 pounds or something fell on us, you know what I mean? Would we have the strength to fuck that shit up off of us? You know what I'm talking about? 300 pounds, Joe. With the testosterone, this is life or death, you know what I mean? Pressed up against that ass. I don't know, you know? I don't know, baby. I don't know. I don't know. Swish. Nothing but net, Emmy. Nothing but net. Emmy says, I'm Hemi, not goddess. Shut up. She's never gonna let that go. She's never gonna let that go. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank my lovely patrons. They're so amazing. How do you guys do it so hard? You know? Look at Frankosaurus there. He's Pickle Rick, you know? Look at Sexy Sedasia. Wow. You're all amazing, and I can't get enough of you. Please remember that you're all literally you're capable of asking for a favor at any point, and you're gonna get it. You want it, you got it. Ask it of me. Let me know, and it'll happen. I also want to thank my amazing sponsors. You know, look how neat and tidy that is. Oh my God, sorry. Look how neat that list is, though. Wow. Can you even believe it? What a crisp number, okay? There's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, baby. 30 sponsors. Wow. That's so gangster. So amazing. So, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a crisp number. It's crisp. Makes me want to do that, You know, where you take your hand and you put you make it so all your fingers are, you know, stretched out, and you make it so your palm is facing away from you, but then you take your thumb tip and then you bring your index fingertip down to meet the thumb tip, you know? So then, like, you know, you got that's the A-OK there, you know? I wish this stupid thing remembered my emojis. I wouldn't have to scroll down every time I wanted an amazing one. YouTube sucks, okay? There it is. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Prelude to Tomorrow says, I was running on a wooden deck when I was 11. Barefoot, of course. The wood was kinda old, and the nails started to work their way up. The nail found its way in between my big toe and middle toe. You say in between? Hopefully you don't mean like the index toe. That would suck. I'm really sorry to hear that, you know? As we continue, we arrive at number 1 on this list. I was working on container ship going from west coast of US to the Japan. From west coast of US to the Japan, Kyle. Yeah, nailed it. We got struck in between 2 low pressure systems for 3 days. I experienced seas 40 to 60 feet. Never in my life have I ever felt so small. That's pretty dank. When Mother Nature reminds you that you're just her bitch. Can you imagine y'all living somewhere where the tornadoes just popping out the sky and shit, getting loose, getting crazy? Hey guys, someone teach me how to, I was gonna say Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Unbelievable. I was gonna say, teach me how to install Cydia Impactor so that I can put Pokemon Go Plus on my phone, but I don't think I care. I am not sure I care, you know? Looks like Sin Moon Goddess is saying unspoken rule of what, the chat, not to go crazy with the caps. Yeah, we just don't like spam around here. Even I don't have a problem with caps, like, occasionally, but you know, just try to not do it. It's kind of unspoken only for people who it's their first stream, like you. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, it's a rule that we speak a lot. It's just, you know, if a rule gets spoken and no one's around to hear it, you know, what the fuck? As we roll into this list, though, it says, what terms like rewind are still used every day, even though they've lost their core relevance? Intriguing. Emily is helping me make my own website, so that should be fun. I don't think it's gonna work yet, though. I don't think it's gonna work yet, but for real, Emily's gonna help me do that. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. So here are some phrases like rewind that are still used today, even though they've lost their relevance. Hang up the phone. Movie trailers used to be shown at the end of a movie. Now they're shown before the movie, so the name doesn't make sense. Oh, trailers. Meaning at the end. They should be called movie bumpers. But that doesn't have a ring to it. Holy shit. Wow. Okay. Not a term, but the save icon still being a floppy disk. Footage. It used to refer to the length of films. We don't use film anymore for TV replays. Third world. It emerged during the Cold War to refer to countries that were not allied with the United States. First world, or Soviet Union, second world. Today we still use it to refer to less developed countries. It is one of those terms that is politically incorrect in the most literal sense, because it refers to a political situation that has not existed for almost 30 years. A patch, as in a computer patch, was originally a small patch placed on a hole in a punched tape. Oh my God. What the bing bong? Nuh-uh. Wow. Wow, Wow, that's so interesting. The soap opera. These serials were usually sponsored by soap companies and aimed at housewives. The association has gone away, but the name stuck. The English language is full of nautical terminology from the age of sail, like leeway, skyscraper, or listless. Once upon a time, a wiretap required putting a device on a physical piece of wire connected to a phone. Car is short for carriage. Old school. Come for a ride in my carriage and give me some bop. You know what I'm talking about? Woo! As we arrive, dashboard. It originally referred to a barrier of wood to protect a carriage of mud and dirt thrown up by the hooves of a horse. Referring to letters as uppercase and lowercase is terminology from the printing press that was still used. Oh my God. Oh boy. But as Selena Cobain, I wasn't aware of all this. If you're truly Selena Cobain, that flat chest wonder, then you would have been in a stream enough to know that we don't like caps. So many people fall prey to that and get banned almost every stream that you couldn't have missed it, even if you were blind. Blind to someone that received anti-venom and was temporarily blind. You know what I mean? Yo, butchers. Oh boy. Here's hoping everybody's feeling fantastic though. Emmy says, have to settle and lay down. Attempt to rest. Kyle, please get a hold of me after the stream. Love you all. Yeah, I will, but aren't you at your parents' house? You know what I mean? True Silver Wolf says, has anyone accidentally called a shopping cart a carriage? Can you please get a carriage for me, please? I need some alcoholic wipes to wipe the germs free from the push. You know what I mean? Enjoy the moment. What's going on with this doggy? Oh, it's like a Pixar movie for stripes. Oh, he's just in, is he gonna open his mouth to lick it? Come on, you gonna lick it? Oh, he's not gonna lick it. I thought he was gonna lick it. I'm a truck driver with a PC and a dream. Wait a minute. I've always wondered how you can set up internet. You know what I mean? In a car. And if it's easier for you to just establish a hotspot via a phone. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be some manner of that. Or is there like kind of like a satellite thing or like a wireless type thing that you can get? Say I were to buy a house, I were to buy a car and then live out of it. You know what I mean? Whether it be a trailer or some kind of like repurposed school bus or something stupid like that, you know, and I was going to live out of that thing. Would it be easier to establish a great service via a cell phone and then enable hotspots? Or should we get some kind of, man, who cares? Guys, you need to be looking for voice work for me now, because I recently was able to log into one of the things that I used to do auditions through, and I'm happy to kind of get back onto that bicycle. But if you guys see any, any auditions, especially in the video game field, that you think I should check out, please make me aware. I love it when you guys have your ear to the ground. Just let me know. Just let me know. Guys, I love ya. I'll see you soon. And you might see me again before the night's over. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Feeling kinda weird. Feeling kinda gay. Hey, look, it's a deer sneezing. Talk to you guys later. Love you.